Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. Sorry about the late video today, guys. I actually had to do some stuff in on downtown. Is it in downtown or on downtown? Or just downtown? I don't know. But, well, I wasn't able to actually record in the morning, so now I can actually do it. So I will probably just post one video today, but tomorrow the normal schedule will be on schedule again, right? So first things first, guys, a lot of people are talking about new nations. Of course, this is always a very big topic, I think, and a lot of people just hope new nations are added. Well, the first thing is that, well, I think it's inevitable that we will see new nations. And the second thing is that I think it's inevitable that the majority of these nations will be, at least like half of them will be copy-paste. And there's nothing we can do about it, right? It's always going to be a problem because the main nations that are in the game, they are the ones that produce the vehicles that you normally see. Apart from some exceptions, there's not a lot of aircraft, tanks, or ships that are made like domestically outside the countries we already have in the game. Yes, there are some examples, as I said, exceptions, but in general, it is kind of hard to actually see that. So, no matter what tech tree I talk about it here, know that there will always be copy-paste tech trees, right? The good part is that, and what I think it's something that a lot of people forget about, is when it's worth to have this copy-paste to get to something. Like China, for example, it's a country that, in my opinion, first of all, it's too big in the whole world arena to not be added, but in general, it's not about the early ranks, but about the modern stuff. On the modern side of stuff, they have plenty of modifications and fun vehicles that can be added in a soonish future that would be very, very cool. And that's already plenty, I think, of a reason to have China in the game. So the majority of these countries are like that. You know, they're either too big to not be added or too important, or they're just basically, they have something to prove. The first one that I wanted to talk about is, or are, the Koreas, right? Both the Koreas, I think they are very, very interesting countries. They are completely different in culture and in even language, you know, to some other countries in Asia. And we already have Japan and China. Of course, there is always other very big countries that we need to see, in my opinion, in the future, but some of them apparently are going to be sub-trees or something like that. Like, for example, India. Like, it feels like they're just adding vehicles for the UK now for them. So even a T90, right? So it's apparently it's going to be that for a while. So the Koreas, I think, are going to be the next best thing on the sense of the largest, like second, like the country that it's the largest and the most important, apart from India, in like that part of Asia, right? And Korea can be very interesting because it can be its own united tech tree. Yes, there would be some controversy, bring some controversy to the game, but at the end of the day, we already have that with China, right? So it kind of doesn't matter. It's the same as Germany, it's the same as China, it's kind of the same, you know what I mean, right? And the cool part about it is that the north part has vehicles of Soviet/Russian, you know, source, and the south has more stuff that came from the US and NATO and everything like that. So it can be kind of a mixed with upgrades and different versions of vehicles that we already have in the game, or similar to what we already have in the game. So tanks similar to the T-62, tanks similar to the M60, similar to the Abrams even with the K-1 aircraft that we already know and love, and modifications from aircraft that, you know, we have it already in the game, so that would be very, very, very cool in my opinion. So the Koreas are definitely one of the ones that I most look forward to, and one of the most likely, to be honest. The second one would be Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia. I don't know how you guys pronounce it in English, but we say Yugoslavia in Portuguese. But you know what I mean. Yugo, right? Tito's Yugo. And that country is very interesting because at the same kind of way uses stuff from NATO sources and Russian sources, because they were their own kind of situation in that part of Europe, you know. And of course, even though it's very sad what happened in the 90s there, because of what happened and everything like that, they kind of ended up having even more different stuff to be added as a modern part of the tech tree, you know, so it can have a variety of vehicles just because they separated each other, and you know, they started using vehicles from different nations, etc., right? So it has a very big variety of vehicles that can be added there. We already have some of the vehicles like that could be added in the Russian tech tree, but still I think at the end of the day there's not even like 1% of what can be coming. And they have a lot of upgrades to tanks, aircraft that are different from the original Soviet or NATO sources. So that would be a very interesting country to have. And the last one that I think it's one of the most likely ones to come is not even a country but a continent. Latin America, of course. It's kind of in the same way, you know, it uses stuff from the Russians, from the NATO sources. And at the end of the day, it's plenty of countries that have their own industries that modify vehicles, etc. So you have some very interesting, like, different vehicles that we can have, like the F5EM, for example, different versions of the A4 like the Argentinians have, which even had like proper radars with BVR and stuff. That would be like really, really crazy to see. And yeah, we're not gonna go through every single like vehicle, every single like that. I already did a whole video about what an air tech tree of that would look like, you know. But at the end of the day, it's a very important part of the world and a very big part. And yeah, again, these three, they're all very interesting, very important. But remember, of course, they will have a lot of copy paste, because guys, there's nothing else that doesn't have a little bit at least of copy paste to be added. So obviously it will have copy paste. But these are the three ones that I think are the most likely ones to come. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think are the nations that can be added. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe